As Sami said, I'm Emma Karoune. I'm a principal researcher at the Alan Turing Institute, also one of the leads of the Turing Way project, which, if you don't know what the Turing Way project is, it's an open science, open collaboration and community-driven project. We involve and support a diverse community of contributors. So now that comes to nearly 600 contributors. We've been going about 5 years, so it's quite a long, sustained project with lots of contributors. And what we get all those contributors to do is to try and make data science more accessible, comprehensible and effective for everybody. So our main output is an online book, which all these contributors can contribute to, as well as other contributions such as maintenance of the infrastructure and doing talks like this as well, and training as well we run. But our online book really brings together best practices for reproducible, ethical, collaborative data science best practices. I'm also going to talk about another initiative which we're just starting, which is the RCM Cooperative as well. And really, this talk is really a wider talk about the work that we've been doing around professionalising research technical professionals, which is why I've called the talk Professionalising Data Stewards and All the Others, because there's lots of others in this space. So what we've really been focusing on is that there is this really evolving and challenging research landscape at the moment. And being from the Turing, we think about this in a kind of the data-driven research and AI space, it being very challenging and needing wider skills, and particularly people who have these specialist skills, such as data stewards. Things like research quality, and so the sort of reproducibility crisis that we're kind of still in, actually, and the implementation of open science, which is still happening. It hasn't actually happened fully yet. Also, research sustainability being really important. So lots of people here have already talked about the FAIR data principles, things like implementing those, but also thinking about environmental issues as well. So how much energy we're using, how sustainably we're archiving our research for reuse. Also the growing need for interdisciplinarity in this research, so bringing together very big, large teams to tackle global challenges is kind of things that are being talked about in government at the moment. And then also implementing things like equity, diversity, inclusion and accessibility, which really is one of the key things I think about doing interdisciplinary research, is bringing together diverse groups of people, involving a very diverse community, involving like the public and patients in like health research. So really thinking about research in a very, very wide, diverse and inclusive and accessible way. And then we're also existing in this space where really our assessment metrics are also evolving as well at the moment. We've already had from UKRI us giving responses, all of us, to the new data policy. You know, all these things are kind of changing at the moment, the way we're going to be assessed in research. So this is really creating this quite challenging research landscape that we are existing in at the moment, and the need for data skills and specialist skills. So it's really clear, I think, at the moment, and we've heard lots of people talking about this, and I want to highlight particularly initiatives like the RSE community, the Technicians Commitment and the Hidden Ref, that they're making it very, very clear that many people working outside of traditional academic roles and career paths that really contribute equally to research, but they're not being recognised equally for their contributions, and as we've been saying lots today, not professionalised. So this means that they are considered as others in research ecosystem, and we still need to constantly remind everyone of this fact and strive to change this. So I'm really glad to be here today to contribute to that, because the CaSDaR project is one of these contributions to this growing need and sort of calling out that this still needs to be done. So how do we actually do this? And I feel like I'm kind of preaching to the converted here a little bit, so just bear with me. So really, we need to understand the landscape. You know, we need to be doing projects that are like kind of meta-science projects, so research projects to document what is going on, document the skills that we need, the roles, the approaches that need to be taken. evolving recognition and incentives. Lots of people have talked about training and upskilling. We definitely don't have enough people working in these roles. Many people today have said that, and I definitely see that all of the time when I'm trying to hire people into teams at Turing. And also people have already talked about creating career pathways. Loads of different roles within the sort of RTP space do not have clear career pathways at the moment, which is really holding us back actually hiring people, I think, and sustaining their careers. I'm just going to talk about various projects that we've done that I've been involved in at Turing. So what I've just talked about in the previous slide was some of the recommendations we made in this particular policy briefing, which we published this year, which was a project that I did with Malvika Sharan, and that was based in the Turing and the Turing Way project around professionalising research infrastructure roles. We looked at different roles, particularly emerging roles, how roles were changing. We spoke to many different people in the community through workshops and interviews, and you can see a sort of summary of the results here in the policy policy document. But actually, sorry, that's a bit small, the text. Actually, we conducted quite a large background literature bit of research, and also I've said we ran workshops, we did a survey and interviews to capture a snapshot of what was going on currently in the RTP landscape. And I have to say, we finished this project about a year and a half ago, so actually it's a bit out of date already, and we haven't published this landscape review. So one of the problems with that is I need to update it. So hopefully that will be out by the end of this year, so it's not more out of date, because things are, as we're seeing, evolving a lot. But this project and subsequent projects have really demonstrated what is evolving and an exciting landscape that we're currently working in this RTP space that we're talking about today. There's definitely some really large players, such as the technicians movement, are definitely moving forward significantly. The software engineers were really leading the space, and also the I think ARMA as well. I've been to, if you haven't been to one of their conferences, they're huge. There's so many of these administrative research administrators and managers. They're really sort of moving quickly. And then we've got other roles like we're talking about today: the data stewards, the PRISMs, the research community managers, which are currently, like today, getting their voices more heard, but getting a bit less visibility than some of the other roles. But that's brilliant we're here today, kind of focusing on these roles particularly. And there are actually lots of different types of projects going on in this space. Some of them already talked about today, so the STP projects, so that's the strategic technical platforms. There's other Network Pluses, and also the MRC biomedical leadership projects as well, which are kind of meta-science projects in this particular area. So the sort of professionalising data science and research roles project I worked on, we did a case study on the Turing and how we work in our data science teams. And this was really to actually bring together an example that other people can use and to show the different roles that we have. So we created personas for all of these different roles. We had an umbrella role, which we called a data science and AI professional persona. And then we had all of these different roles, which we have at Turing at the moment. I would say that these are not all involved in all of the teams. Our teams, oh my goodness, I'll speak really quick. Our teams are very bespoke, so we kind of decide what we want to do with funding and also what is needed in the project. Here is the case study, so go and have a look at that. One of the things I wanted to point out is we've already talked about people not having the label data steward. We don't actually have data stewards at Turing, the National Institute of Data Science. It's very odd. So we don't have that as a formal role, but we do have a number of roles that take that responsibility. So we have data scientists, data wranglers, the best name job ever, I think, community managers, research application managers, even a librarian as well. So it depends on the project who takes on the particular responsibilities, or we share responsibilities for data stewardship. One of the other things in this project that I've been focusing on is I run the team of research community managers at the Turing, and we're an open research kind of team that builds engagement and collaboration in projects. And we actually did a piece of work on skills frameworks and case studies for that particular role. So we're looking to really try and push forward and professionalise research community managers. We've formed a new initiative called the RCM Cooperative, which I'm working on with two of my former colleagues from Turing. And we're really trying to bring together a network like the CaSDaR network, but for community managers and coordinators in research. We currently offer training, mentorship, and also strategy work. We're working with different organisations such as the SSI and ADR UK to kind of work on building their community skills and involvement. Another project I'm working on is the Advancing Biomedical Data Science Careers project. Here we're actually doing a large bit of qualitative research where we are trying to document the space. So we're focusing on what interdisciplinary biomedical data science is. So we're doing case studies at 3 different levels: organizational level, team level, and individual level. So really I am inviting you, if you are a data steward, we're looking for you. If you're a bioinformatician, we want to hear from you. So do contact me because we're really looking to document a really large variety of people that work in biomedical data science.